While Ranger Slayer was inside the grid, Dark Specter continued to conquer other Power Rangers teams, and this time he goes after the Alien Rangers. Due to the infection that Dark Specter had implemented in the grid, he could travel anywhere and to any time. Remember that the grid is connected to all epochs, and that is why Dark Specter keeps finding other Rangers. The Alien Rangers don't know what is going on, so they try to confront Dark Specter, and this is obviously what he wants. In order for Dark Specter to infect the Rangers, they must connect to the grid, and since the Alien Rangers know nothing about the situation, this is the first thing they do. Dark Specter has managed to conquer the Alien Rangers planet and now intends to continue searching for other teams. Rita tries to say that this is all thanks to her, but Dark Specter threatens her and tells her that she didn't do anything. This doesn't sit well with Alpha 11, and he says that Dark Specter forgets that this is all thanks to Rita. He also tells Rita that he serves her and not Dark Specter, as masters should appreciate their servants. At the command center, Zordon receives a message from Elter informing him that the Alien Rangers have been infected by Dark Specter, and the Rangers explain to him that when Dark Specter arrives somewhere, that space becomes infected. If in that space any Ranger tries to transform, then he is automatically going to be infected. In Promethea, Taylor, Zach, and Jason are discussing the possibility of the volunteers being able to defend the Earth, and it is very complicated to teach them to be soldiers so quickly. Jason understands that it is impossible to teach them to be soldiers, but at least they can give them a chance to save their home and fight for the Earth. Taylor thinks it is very difficult since the enemy is so powerful, but Jason says that the strength of humanity is to fight even when everything seems impossible. To begin training, the Rangers enter a simulation, a Promethea technology that gives them a very real-looking scenario so they can practice before the actual battle. The volunteers in training are tasked with saving civilians, and the Rangers are tasked with taking out the monster. Despite being a simulation, Bulk and Skull are very scared and are trying to save a baby. At that moment, an enemy begins to approach, and Jason manages to save them. In the Bermuda Triangle, the Rangers are trying to protect the site of the Master Arch ruins because the other Rangers are trying to open the eggs. These eggs are very old and apparently contain the power of the grid. The Rangers are worried about what Dark Specter might do since he now has so much power, but the Phantom Ranger says that the land had been protected for thousands of years, but now it no longer poses a threat to Dark Specter. This is why he has done nothing, as now the Rangers are like mice waiting in a trap. At that moment, Morgan manages to open one of the eggs, and now the Rangers go to find out what is inside. The Rangers are surprised to find that inside the egg is a crystal that has all the power of the grid and is a part that is out of Dark Specter's reach. The Rangers come up with the idea that they can use the Master Arch to turn it into a shield using the energy of the crystal inside the egg, and in this way, they can repel Dark Specter. Because Grace is gone, the Rangers don't know how to do all this, but luckily, the Phantom Ranger was the one who built this Master Arch, and he can build this shield. Now Dark Specter arrives in another galaxy to conquer the Psycho Rangers, who are willing to fight, but they are no match for Dark Specter's power. Angel, who is Dark Specter's general, explains to him everything that the Psycho Rangers are going to do in the future, and Dark Specter is happy because these Rangers are evil and powerful. Rita tries to tell Dark Specter that these Rangers are unpredictable even though they are infected, but Dark Specter gets very angry because he didn't ask for her opinion. At that moment, Dark Specter tries to open the portal, but surprisingly the portal does not open. On Earth, the Rangers manage to create the shield and then explain to the other Rangers that this is temporary. The power in the eggs works like a battery. It is a power that will eventually run out, but it is a new source of power. This way the Rangers can transform without the risk of being infected, and although this is temporary, it gives them enough time to plan. Zordon asks the Hyperforce Rangers to travel to different galaxies to find the other Rangers who have not been infected and bring them to Earth. On the first trip they go in search of the Zeo Gold Ranger and Blue Centurion, who were being cornered by the enemies. In this trip some Rangers were already infected, but there were others who were still fighting, trying to use the weapons without being able to transform. Another destination was Miranoi, and this time the Hyperforce encountered the Pink Ranger from Lost Galaxy and Magna Defender. They don't know the Hyperforce, so they are very suspicious, and the only thing that makes them trust again is that the Hyperforce are not Dark Specter's servants. The Hyperforce also travel into the future and now encounter the Dino Thunder Rangers, who are fighting hard, but almost lose the battle. Fortunately, the Hyperforce arrive in time and manage to save all of these Rangers so they can make it to Earth. Dark Specter realizes what was going on and is very angry as he has not been able to infect all the Rangers. In addition to this, the Rangers that are being saved are also taking them to a safe place where they can't follow them. Rita starts apologizing to him and says that she is going to find a way through the Earth barrier, but this doesn't matter to Dark Specter. No matter what Rita says, Dark Specter feels that she is to blame for all of this and says that he has lost his patience already. As Rita is begging for forgiveness, a loud sound is heard. Dark Specter has destroyed Alpha 11 and says that he hears everything, so he demands total loyalty. This was because of the conversation Alpha 11 had with Rita, in which he told her that he was only her servant and not Dark Specter's. In the Bermuda Triangle we can see that the Phantom Ranger is looking intently at the Master Arch and then tries to touch it. Apparently, something happens that doesn't allow the Phantom Ranger to get through the arch, and then we can see that there is a spark of energy. The Phantom Ranger tells Billy that he has spent many years regretting what he did, as he had built this Master Arch to help his people, but now they are all doomed because he brought Dark Specter into this world. Despite this, Billy tells him that in science there are always some risks and sometimes there is no choice, for now the arch is being used for protection. The Phantom Ranger replies that sometimes some actions are not worth the risk they carry, so Billy must learn from the mistakes he made. At that moment, the portal opens, and the Rangers can't believe what is happening. The Ranger Slayer goes through the portal and returns to Earth after her journey in search of the Morphin Masters, but she brings the white power coin with her. At the prison, Rita visits Tommy, who has not been able to be infected because he uses the White Ranger power, which is unbreakable. Rita asks Tommy if redemption can be for anyone, and Tommy replies that everything must begin with intention and mercy, but Dark Specter doesn't understand that. Rita agrees with Tommy's words, and as he frees him, she tells him that he is no longer of any use to Dark Specter. After the Rangers managed to create a shield for the Earth using the eggs that contained the energy of the grid, they also created a shield in the Bandora Palace on the moon, and Lord Zed is very worried because the shield is getting smaller every day. In this image we can also notice that none of Dark Specter's soldiers can get past the shield, and they are all waiting for the shield to fall. Even though Kendall and Billy are working to try to stabilize the shield, Lord Zed remains impatient and doesn't know if it was a good idea to let the Rangers into his castle. Trini from the other dimension tells him that he should be patient, but Lord Zed is so angry that he destroys some Dark Specter soldiers. Trini from the Omega Rangers and Trini from the other dimension begin to have a strange conversation as they both lament that Scorpina and Bulk have been trapped with Dark Specter. Then the Omega Ranger also regrets that the other Trini has lost the Zack of that dimension. Meanwhile, Zack the Omega Ranger is giving orders to Lord Zed's soldiers, and it feels strange having to give orders to those monsters after having fought them so many times. Trini from the other dimension tells the Omega Ranger that after having lost so many people she thought she would feel nothing by losing more people, but it has been the opposite, and that is why she tells the Omega Ranger that she must talk to Zack before it's too late. While they are having that conversation, we can see that Rita's staff opens a portal and apparently, she has reached the moon. In the command center, Ranger Slayer begins to explain to everyone that the Morphin Masters are crazy, and with this we can confirm that they were not actually being geniuses, but rather insane. She also explains that the emissaries were corrupted, and the Phantom Ranger is so shocked that he doesn't want to believe Kimberly's words, so the both of them start having an argument. The Phantom Ranger thinks that the Slayer Ranger may still be infected, but Kimberly tells him that his suit is literally painted with Dark Specter's corruption. Let's remember that in the past the Phantom Ranger's suit was white, but due to certain problems with Dark Specter, his suit changed to black. Zordon stops the fight and, very angry, tells the Rangers that they can't do anything for those who are lost, but with human ingenuity they must move forward. He then asks Billy about the options they have, but Billy is unsure as they don't know much about the eggs, and despite his power, the shield continues to shrink. The Phantom Ranger can't believe that the last place that isn't infected is Earth, and he thinks there must be another place, but Kimberly tells him that it doesn't matter since they haven't heard from the Hyperforce Rangers in several days. At that moment Alpha 5 realizes that Rita has opened a portal and has arrived attacking Dark Specter's soldiers. Rita has arrived along with Tommy, who is once again using his White Ranger powers, and we already know that this power cannot be corrupted. The Rangers can't believe what they are seeing, and Lord Zed quickly realizes that Rita is no longer the favorite of Dark Specter, who has also crossed the portal. Rita gathers all her power which comes from the Zeo crystals, and Dark Specter says that she is a traitor, so he wants to destroy her. Despite these words, Rita tells Dark Specter that she has repaid 10 times everything he has given her and now thinks that Dark Specter will not be able to succeed without her help. Tommy goes to confront Rocky and Adam, who are infected, and both want to attack Tommy at the same time. Because this is a huge disadvantage, Zack prepares to go out to fight, but Trini stops him since if he has to take off the suit then he won't be able to transform again without being corrupted. At Promethea, all the volunteers are still training hard, but at that moment Trona tells Jason and Taylor that Candace hasn't contacted her in 3 days, and this may mean that Elter has fallen. Skull is very worried since Candace is his ex-girlfriend and no one knows anything about her. On the moon, the battle continues and now a ship arrives from which someone leaves. This person is the Ranger Slayer, who was using the white power coin, and this creates a white barrier around her body. The Rangers can't believe what they are seeing as she had been corrupted and is now fighting to help Tommy. The Ranger Slayer asks Tommy why she isn't on the other side of the shield, but Tommy obviously doesn't know anything about this shield. Because of this, Kimberly kicks him hard so that he can pass to the other side of the shield, and then she also plans to enter. Dark Specter begins to win the battle against Rita, and he is very powerful. Just as we assumed, Ranger Slayer crosses to the other side of the shield and abandons Rita. Now all the infected Rangers attack Rita and she is lying on the ground helpless, but Tommy wants the Rangers to save her since he knows that Dark Specter wants to destroy her. Then Dark Specter hits Rita so hard that it destroys her helmet, and we can see her white hair. Dark Specter sentences her to the maximum punishment, but surprisingly everyone receives a strong energy hit. Lord Zed had attacked them all, remembering that he has powers of a ranger, so he holds Rita and teleports to another place. Dark Specter is very angry and then tries to attack the Rangers, but the shield protects them all. Even though the Rangers are a little nervous, they allow Dark Specter to try to break through the shield to see what happens, and they all begin to see that the power of the uncorrupted grid is still toxic to him. Dark Specter is badly injured, so Angel opens a portal to escape. Now Billy begins to examine Tommy after being locked up in Dark Specter's prison for so long and suffering so much torture. After a short conversation, Tommy realizes that Billy isn't doing too well, but Billy tells him that doesn't matter much and is just glad that he's back. At that moment Kimberly arrives and is crying because of the emotion she feels at having Tommy back, and then they both begin to kiss passionately. Somewhere else, Lord Zed begins to complain to Rita about everything that had happened and tells her that he had been merciful to her many times. He also tells her that he has destroyed many others for far less than the things she did, but he pitied her again and again. Despite having been pious so many times, she repaid him this way. Rita wishes she had done more, but Lord Zed makes it clear that he does not hate her for her betrayal, and Rita just begs him to let her go. Lord Zed explains to her that they are villains and hatred is their nature, her downfall. Because of the hatred she felt towards him, she then chose another master. Through that same hatred she condemned the universe, the same universe that both had sworn to conquer together. Lord Zed begins to dance with Rita as he asks her what will become of them now. In Angel Grove, Zack and Jason are training since they haven't trained together in a long time. Let's remember that Jason was part of the Omega Rangers, and now the 3 original Omega Rangers are together again. Zack invites Trini to train with her friends, but she prefers to give them a hug. Then Zack and Trini start talking, and Zack notices that she is very thoughtful and tells her that she can tell him anything. Although Trini accepts that something is wrong with her, she tells him that she prefers to have that conversation at another time and wants to enjoy the present. Jason joins the conversation by asking Trini if everything is okay, and she tells him that she just never knows what might happen tomorrow. In the Bermuda Triangle, there are Prometheus soldiers guarding the eggs, but Kia suddenly appears and steals one of the eggs.